more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
It's getting nicer outside, but it's still hit or miss in the spring on golf weather. Not at Double Eagle Golf. You're home for always 72-degree weather with no wind. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues are underway, but stay tuned for info on indoor golf tournaments and book your bay for after the spring game in late April. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf. Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your team.
Join On the Block and Old School live from Scissors and Scotch on 30th and Yankee Hill on Thursday, June 6th to celebrate their grand opening. Feel better instantly with a beard trim, haircut, or a traditional shave courtesy of the experienced and professional barbers at Scissors and Scotch. Stick around after your cut and enjoy a beverage in their cozy bar area, and don't worry, there's more than just Scotch. Spend your afternoon with Scissors and Scotch and 93.7 The Ticket live on location June 6th from 2 to 6 p.m.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into the Punt Hour. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, we got the host, DeMornay Pierson-El, streaming in. And if you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. We got the Royals on the airwaves again tonight. Tomorrow, we'll be back live. And then Thursday as well. But nonetheless, DeMornay Pierson-El, how's it going on this incredibly windy Tuesday night?
It's going. Can't be too mad about it.
Yeah, at least we're not in Iowa. I'm usually pretty anti-Iowa, but thoughts and prayers because the weather looks absolutely crazy. The entire state of Iowa is under tornado watch all day. It's just been that kind of tornado season. But nonetheless, at least here in Lincoln, just windy, a little bit of rainy. But I want to talk about some college football, in particular in Nebraska. We talked a little bit about the House versus NCAA settlement. The one thing we didn't talk about that, though, as a result, how would you feel about the walk-on program coming to an end? Because this is a real possibility with this settlement, reducing the number of scholarships available from 115 to 85. And a lot of this is real conversation of walk-on programs just not being there anymore, cutting them with the limited scholarships. And total roster size.
The walk-ons pretty much pay for almost everything, so I don't understand why that has to get cut. Some of them, a few of them might get, invited to camp and whatnot, but I wouldn't say make a drastic decision to say, just cut out all walkouts. I think that would be wrong, and I don't see how you could that's an opportunity to get things and cancel things out when they pay for their meal plans, they pay for their books, pay for school and everything like that. Other than, the gear that you give them and everything like that, walk-ons are pretty much paying everything out of pocket. So why do they have to suffer for something that, doesn't, involve them really?
Yeah, this one coming from Yahoo Sports. Again, all these articles are just trying to break down this madness of what the settlement is. We ripped into it yesterday, and I think rightfully so. And a lot of people are starting to realize how messed up this is. Basically, to sum it up yesterday, if you missed it, the mid-major conferences are going to be responsible for paying a massive chunk of that $2.9 billion settlement if it goes through. The Power 5 schools would front about the 40. The mid-conference non-Power 5 schools would front about 60 in that second half. It's crazy, but the reasoning is it's still kind of wish-washy. As part of the proposed new athlete compensation model, Power Conference leaders are considering significantly reducing football rosters, potentially moving from a roster of more than 115 to as few as 85 to 95 players. That figure, 85, aligns with maximum scholarship number permitted under NCAA rules. So again, it's you get your scholarship players and that's it. Just trying to eliminate any excess fat for strictly numbers reasons. Do you think this is a real possibility that this goes down, that they actually find a way to eliminate the walk-on program? Because to me, that's just.
I think they're going to try and probably make that happen. But again, you got at least the Power 5 schools. The Power 5 schools you have, for instance, Nebraska, they're an Adidas school. They don't get paid, they don't have to buy all that equipment and all the gear and stuff and everything like that. So that's given for free. So, that's not technically something that you got to come out of pocket for. Stuff with food, everything, I get that, but I don't think that that's the thing that you knock out and kick out. At Nebraska, they take that seriously. How many players, have gone on from walk-on to scholarship to playing in the NFL and everything like that. I was fortunate enough to play with B. Riley. He was Brandon Riley. He was a walk-on that earned, his scholarship, played 3 or 4 years in the league and whatnot. So that program in situations like that, that might have not have happened if, that was taken away. And there are so many, that came, Nebraska greats that, that a few of them that walked on and, earned a scholarship. So I don't think that that's the answer to cut or to, cut and trim edges. But I understand with them having so much money to pay in and whatnot, I just don't think that's the best thing or smart at all.
No, there's some of the best stories come on from walk-ons, right? Like even
Baker Mayfield was a walk-on, was a 3-time walk-on, and a Heisman winner and a first-round draft pick.
Glad you mentioned that. Let's just go. Remember Stetson Bennett? He was a walk-on. Baker Mayfield, he was a walk-on.
Heisman winner.
Hunter Renfro, another walk-on. J.J. Watt, Clay Matthews, Stephen. You got Gronk out there. All these guys. The stories just don't. If you eliminate this walk-on potential, that's kind of the dream of college football, is like for those walk-ons that, no one believed in me. I'm going to double down on myself and I'm going to find a way to make it and just take away that opportunity completely.
Now, if you say, they want to cut down those numbers a little bit, what, for the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to limit that to where, your numbers aren't as bad. All right. I can respect that, but to get rid of a whole entire group when it's not their fault or anything like that, and regardless of the circumstance, they're still putting forth, they're still showing up day in and day out, grinding, like the next person to get an opportunity, 2-3 years down the line, and for you to take that away completely just to help you out, that's not right. How many of the those walk-ons actually you play on special teams? Mm-hmm. Everything like that, or help fill out stuff and everything like that. So I feel like that is an important part, just not only for the scholarship guys, but fulfilling a dream. How many kids that grew up wanting to play for Nebraska. They didn't care if it was a walk-on or not. They know, okay, well, if so-and-so played and, stuck and was dedicated for 3 years and, his senior year, he got a chance and opportunity to go and play. That can happen. So I don't think that would be right at all. And I don't think that's the scenario you pick and choose to go down and make happen.
Yeah, and like you talk about it too, like the walk-ons and that the kind of fire that brings into rooms, and you can speak on it because we got a guy like Xander Rugaroli. He came on as a preferred walk-on, definitely could have gone otherwhere, but wanted to play for Nebraska, maybe see something in Rail on the offensive line coaching. And he's like, you know what, that's the right fit for me. If that walk-on program's not there, he's just going to pick a different school simply because that's the rules. Like if there's no scholarship, no, there's no walk-on program. And I mean, you can probably speak on this. The walk-ons, they're gunning for those scholarships. They want your job. And they're way hungrier. And I feel like that just builds that competition within the place when you got these guys that are just dying to take a scholarship. And like you said, that's coming out of pocket for them. The work they're putting in, I don't want to take anything away from the scholarship players.
They catch it on the back. They catch it on the back end. They don't catch it on the front end.
I mean, how much would that destroy, you think, competition? If this walk-on program were somehow get destroyed in this settlement that's just been horribly organized so far?
I don't think it would diminish competition, but I think you would see a lot more role players or a lot more scholarship players hurt. And counter-wise, players might not make it to and through the seasons. The walk-on players as well as redshirt people, they serve the offense and defense. So I mean, now you take away that. Now you're putting more miles on your starters or your 2-man rotation. So instead of people catching a break or they're having a role with okay, they on special teams, they're on all 4 special teams, they're going down there and putting their body out on the line to get things done. I don't think it would hurt competition as much, but I think it would hurt all of the other players who are in camp and everything like that, or players who get hurt and the next man up, it might just be you needed an opportunity. That walk-on player might fit into a role to where now he's getting 3 and 4 snaps a day because a scholarship guy is hurt. And now the coaches is looking at you differently and might put you into different positions. That happened with 2 other teammates that I played at Nebraska with. Their back end in their career, their junior and senior year, dudes went down and they end up scoring touchdowns. Mm-hmm. They got thrown in there and whatnot. A big time game. I think Ream Dog, Brian Reimers, he scored against Oregon, if I'm not mistaken, on a post. So I mean, he was a walk-on, but I mean, he was there putting in work. And he waited for his opportunity and whatnot. So things like that will get missed out. And you really won't know what happens, because what happens, when a young guy comes in, he's just not, mature enough to handle, the load of the playbook, the load of, lifting, the schedule and everything like that. And he taking things as a joke. The walk-on is the next person. They're like, okay, well, we'll give him the chance and, he'll make it and, we'll redshirt you. And, this guy take your reps out of, off of your plate. And then that next year, now you kind of starting behind the ball and the walk-on guy kind of is living comfortably, closer to a scholarship and, he traveling and whatnot. So I don't think it necessarily would mess up, the competitiveness, but it will mess up, a healthy team, period. You won't have bodies. You won't have, people that has been there in the system. You'll just rely on, your top 2 guys and, you'll focus on, those red shirt guys or the guys that you are not confident later on down the line. Spring ball, after the season, X, Y, and Z or whatnot. So if they cut that, that'll definitely hurt, period.
Yeah, because like we pointed a few of the cases out. I'm like, yeah, we understand most of the walk-ons aren't going to have that luxurious career, especially not a Baker Mayfield situation where they go out winning Heisman. But it's still that possibility out there, and it's that fact that that's kind of like the DNA of college football, especially here at Nebraska. I mean, it's what really pushed Nebraska to new heights, was having that massive roster of guys that were not guaranteed anything, but they love the program so much. Like, damn, I'll be a Husker just to be a Husker. I don't care if it's walk on or not. That's how much I care about this program. and just cutting that away. I mean, it just feels like we get further away from college football every year. But we're at this weird point where I can't deny it. When I turn on college football outside of the ridiculous ad time, it's pretty damn good. Like, it's pretty damn good still. It's a great product. I love watching college football. Colorado night game, that's going to be electric. Like, there's still every year these games I circle like, yup, I'm going to be watching every second of that. Do you ever worry that, we'll get to a point where we're just getting so far away from the idea of what college football used to be, or with the numbers what they are, it just feels like, regardless of how we feel about the NCAA and the Power Five and how they're handling this compensation deal, people are just going to continue to tune in to watch, and these powers in position, we're really not pushing them to change anything, and we're just going to keep heading down this road that's further away from, really, I just want to say, closer to professional sports than we've ever been, and I think we'll keep going down that way.
So I mean, year in and year out, things have changed. Things will not be the same. The game, changes every 2 years, 3 years. So I think college football is going to continue to evolve. With players getting paid now, I think that changes a lot. But at the end of the day, the goal is still to get to the next level, play football, get an education and everything like that. So I feel like the core amount of things will probably stick. They might have, the circus that comes with it, things that you have to endure and whatnot. But it's too much power behind that. It's too much invested in that to change it drastically to where something might not, work or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. When it comes to like college football and the kind of the corruption that's going, I don't want to say corruption because sometimes it's not. The players are getting paid rightfully so. Sometimes there's sharks. But is there a route where we need to start kind of leaning into pro just because of the way it's going right now? And the faster we lean into it, maybe the sooner we get out of this gray period where we got all this madness going on with tampering, NIL, coaches stepping in when they shouldn't be recruiting kids. And maybe we just kind of lean into the pro contracts based on maybe last year's numbers, or you kind of put stipulations where you got to stay at least 2 years and the money's on the back end of this contract, not the front end. Because basically everything right now, the money's on the front end. Like you sign on that NIL deal, you get to that school, a lot of that money's on the front end, and you could likely hit the transfer portal again if you want to, when maybe the way to do it is you do put these contracts in. Maybe not you have to get X amount of touchdowns, because that's not really even how it works at the pro level. Yeah, we get bonuses, but that contract isn't based on how many touchdowns you're going to throw. But is there a way to put professional-like contracts based on previous numbers, and it's on the back end where, say, maybe year 2 it hits?
No, I don't think that would be smart at all either. Kids, for all the time and stuff that they have to do and everything like that, they absolutely deserve, all the money that they get and everything like that. Now, how you kind of like, offset that, instead of giving them $100K up front, look, okay, we'll give you 40, 50 right now. You make it to the end of the season and everything like that. You got that guaranteed coming. You got the other 50K coming for sure. And if you hit, X, Y, and Z, these are the bonuses that you can get. So that way it's kind of a middle of, money. Both sides are winning. I mean, that's what happened, with pro sports. You'll see, let's say, DJ Metcalf or Brown, AJ Brown, for instance.
Yep.
He had when he got traded, he got $100 million contract. Up front, they gave him, it was over 60% of his contract up front, and then over. That was guaranteed money. You got the signing bonus that year. They'll, split it up to where you'll get it in game checks. And then, over the next year, you get the rest of that salary earned. So I feel like, that would be better to kind of implement in college football. That way kids kind of understand the contracts and they got 4 years or 3 years at least to understand it and get used to terminology and everything like that. That way, when they go to the next level, it's something that they've seen before. They don't get taken advantage of and everything like that. I don't think you need to give 18, 19-year-olds, 400, 500K right off the rip. I think that's dumb. But if they making 200K, okay, we'll give you 70, 80,000 when you report to fall camp. And once you make it through the season, you get the rest of whatever term that was for that year. And then you got, initiatives that you can that are built in. We got over 4 years, we give you 100,000 each year. For example, we'll give you 100,000 each year, break it up like that. But each year, if you lead the conference, if you top 3 in this, or if top on your team, you get another additional, 50 to whatever it is, break it down kind of like that. I think that needs to be set forth, and you can't just allow all the other universities to make up their own laws, because people get taken advantage of. It's not consistent. It's not the same. So I think the NCAA, right along with the conferences, right along where the people with power actually need to this is the standard baseline of it is what it is. These are the parameters, and I mean people are going to be mad because they've been following and doing what they wanted to. But you're creating, situations to where you're buying people. So there's ways to end it, but there has to be consequences and checks and balances for things.
Yeah, this is where it gets super complicated, because I'm with you. When I mean on the back end, I totally agree. You get partial money up front because we recruit you for a reason. It's kind of the same thing as like pros, where they have a great season, you pay them for that previous season. The X, Y, and Z's, I don't think that should be touchdowns or, receiving yards, sacks, whatever it may be. That can be the bonus, but I still think that guaranteed money, you get that first half, and then back end on whatever that 2 years, 3 years down the line, if you stay to it. And then the bonuses are the touchdowns, X, Y, and Z, those other factors in there. But,
meaning, things that can get you bonus. If you make first team Big Ten.
Yeah, like even a Heisman, you get big time.
If you are a finalist for the Biletnikoff, the Buckets Award, or if you're one of those 3, to get that, those are the types of bonuses and whatnot. If you lead the nation in touchdowns, if you lead the nation in yardage, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to give kids goals to achieve. If you perform and do what you want to do, I can make more money. Okay, now that's goal driven, positive reinforcement. So if you don't do bad, and you're not doing what you're supposed to, that extra amount of money you're not going to get. You know what I'm saying? And then each year you can renegotiate. Or I kind of want to add this, or instead of maybe top in the nation or whatnot. What if I lead the Big Ten for sure? What if I lead the Big Ten in touchdowns and everything like that? Maybe not getting an extra 10, 15K, but you can get an extra 8K. You can get an extra 5K for, doing that and everything like that. Those are positive, bonuses and whatnot. You produce better products. Kids are gonna be driven to, play better, study harder and everything like that, because at the end of the day, if you take care of business, do what you're supposed to do, that's more money in your pocket.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where we just need to find a way to figure it out where it's nice and organized, because nobody has a problem with the players getting paid. That's not the problem. It's, okay, how can we keep this from getting more corrupt than it is? Because players can get paid, but will bigger universities, coaches with more money, the tampering that we talk about.
I'm more concerned the people who are writing these NIL deals, you all are business people. So you write the contracts, you can write the contract. So who says you got to give, that kid this amount of money, the whole bag right up front?
Because somebody else will. That's the problem that we're kind of running into, is somebody else will. They'll be like, oh, they don't want to do it. I'll go ahead and throw you all the money if you just come here now. And that's kind of the problem. And that's what we're seeing with the tampering too that I'm talking about. It's like coaches will just, well, no, don't worry about what they said. We'll throw you all the money now, because these aren't, legally binding, maybe in some cases, but more often than not, it's that money's up front and it's kind of done deal. You sign, you got your NIL bag, and now there's really nothing keeping you to holding your word. Now, again, it's not the athlete's fault for taking advantage of the situation. Go make money. Hey, that's what anybody's going to do. Coach, I know what he said, but there's no 6 figures over here for him.
My family needs, I like I said, I get it. It's a tough situation. But like I said, I think, something needs to come from the people of power to establish a baseline of, okay, this is what it is. This is the guidelines. And if you step out of bounds and everything like that, this is the fine. And how you do that, you punish people harshly.
Yes.
You get caught tampering and everything like that. Half your salary is gone, and you lose 3 scholarships. I guarantee you, people won't be tampering in.
Yeah, and that's
you can hire people to investigate, do things, and everything like that. You can make checks and balances to where you have to check in, and you have to tell people, who are you, not necessarily who you interested in and everything like that, but turn in a list of, people that you might, want after or whatnot. And I mean, they got investigators. I mean, phones is tapped in today's world or whatever. So, I mean, if anything that you wanted to get, you can get out of it if you fully investigated somebody. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you won't, there's no way to really, hide if you're doing something, that you're not supposed to be doing. So you make the punishment severe, and I guarantee people won't try and do that.
Well, that's kind of what pissed me off about Michigan last year. They really got off the hook pretty damn easy.
Yeah.
I mean, in a scenario where most coaches are doing stuff a little bit shady to try to get an edge. I'm not saying Matt Rule does that, but I'm not going to sit here and be an idiot and say, no, all these coaches are totally honest in their coaching practices. The fact that Jim Harbaugh, you stirred the hornet's nest that much that all these other coaches were calling you out for being a cheater, shows that there's some real evidence to that. I mean, you had a guy literally on the sidelines, and they just off the hook. Michigan goes and wins a national championship. Hooray, whatever. We already kind of just forgot about it, but they definitely cheated a fair amount in terms of scouting. They probably didn't need to. Maybe that's the most infuriating part. You look at how talented that roster was. You probably could have won most of those games without the insane scouting. We'll just put it in that terms because
he said that, and look what happened to him the year before when they played TCU. TCU knew they were cheating. They changed up,
Yep, and they got
and so really, are they as good as you kind of think they were and everything like that? It's he say she say, but they definitely got off, with a slap on the wrist, and I definitely think, a lot of other people will be attempting or finding ways to. Okay, well, if he would have been smarter with names or whatnot, he wouldn't have got stuff situated. How many people across this nation, they come from all parts and everything like that. How many people got kids, nephews, or cousins that go to these universities? Hey, if I send you this money, give me these tickets to the game so I can get in. You know what I'm saying? They're like, there's ways around stuff and whatnot. They just, because they're Michigan, nobody was looking. They got what they got. So I think definitely this upcoming year, you will have people trying to necessarily, redo that, because I mean, if it paid off for them and that's all that they got is a suspension by the coach got a suspension and they fired a dude. I'm pretty sure that dude still got a severance package that was straight. And regardless of where else, Harbaugh is where in
Chargers now.
With the Chargers, you telling me you don't think Harbaugh is thinking of him? Hey, I know what you did for us. I appreciate you for taking that. Come be an analyst on the staff. We'll pay you this and that. Like, he's taken care of. It's all water under the bridge. So I think, teams and universities will be trying their best to recreate that in ways that they won't get caught.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely took the axe for that, and he took pretty much all of the blame. And then Jim Harbaugh, just as a result of being near it, he is the CEO. I mean, he's like the boss. I don't care if you're aware or not aware. He was definitely aware. We don't have to pretend he wasn't. He was aware. But because he can claim, I wasn't aware of it, he takes the axe. Jim Harbaugh, slap on the wrist. He's, see you later. I'm going to get out of here while the grass is still green. And now he's over with the Chargers. But it's just,
I don't know if the guy that got the axe is. I'm just saying, like.
I bet you he's doing fine. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got his feet kicked up somewhere. Whether, how they got those funds to him, if it was low key or not, but I'm sure that he is not sitting there suffering.
No,
because again,
and he got a ring. He for sure got a national championship ring. He for sure got the I can't forget which bowl they were in when they played Bama. He for sure got that ring too as well, and a Big Ten championship. So I mean, it sucks that it's like that, and that's all that they got. But I mean, you get enough film week in and week out from teams regardless. They submit your film, vice versa. So I don't get it why you even have to go to that length if you already get, the film of what you need.
Well, clearly there's some sort of advantage in getting a little bit of extra film, because that's exactly where it went. And, this is just kind of also part of the problem is we talked a little bit about that House and NCAA settlement. Is the Power Five has always kind of been able to push around and bully the NCAA into doing what they want. The NCAA gets a lot of slack, but the Power Fives have also been able to kind of push them around and make them listen to what they want to do. Hence the settlement, the secret meeting that happened, and how these 27 other conferences are going to have to find a way to chuck over most of the money, because clearly Georgia Southern was sold out every week. The money they brought in is just insane. So clearly they're the ones responsible and should be paying for it. But that's just kind of some of the corruption we're seeing. And at least today, in an era with like news as fast as it comes today, it's a lot harder to be shady like that, and it comes to light a lot quicker. But we do got to throw it to break here, and I think we'll go to break on this because this just kind of sums out how far at least we've come. Talk about the days when Jameis Winston stole some crab legs from Kroger and he got suspended heavily. One of the wildest stories. At least we're not in those times anymore. And if a player wants some crab legs, you can go ahead and get some on an NIL deal. But again, we'll throw it to break here. This is the Don't Punt Hour. We got the morning Pierson-El, the host as always. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We'll throw it to break and talk to you guys in just a little bit.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
It's getting nicer outside, but it's still hit or miss in the spring on golf weather. Not at Double Eagle Golf. You're home for always 72-degree weather with no wind. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues are underway, but stay tuned for info on indoor golf tournaments and book your bay for after the spring game in late April. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf. Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Join On the Block and Old School live from Scissors and Scotch on 30th and Yankee Hill on Thursday, June 6th to celebrate their grand opening. Feel better instantly with a beard trim, haircut, or a traditional shave courtesy of the experienced and professional barbers at Scissors and Scotch. Stick around after your cut and enjoy a beverage in their cozy bar area, and don't worry, there's more than just Scotch. Spend your afternoon with Scissors and Scotch at 93.7 The Ticket, live on location June 6th from 2 to 6 p.m.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the host, DeMornay Pierson-El, streaming in on a windy Tuesday night. But unless we finished the last segment talking some college football, a little bit more on the House versus NCAA settlement, the possibility of the walk-on program getting eliminated, which, again, I'm going to say optimistically that that's not going to happen. I have a hard time believing they're able to actually go through with that, but it's that possibility, so it's worth talking about. Where I want to go with this, since we went over on the last one talking college football, maybe we need to revisit a series we talked about yesterday. Maybe I was too quick with it. I said possibility of a gentleman's sweep. The Boston Celtics versus the Indiana Pacers. I was thinking about it some more last night, and the Indiana Pacers, because the Celtics haven't been able to get through the Eastern Conference Finals for whatever reason. They're not going to have Kristaps Porzingis in this series, which is a big deal. I thought he was going to be back by now. It just simply isn't. Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam.
Maybe if he had lost some more games and gave him some more time, he might have been.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe drag this thing out. But I mean, this Pacers team is not the same team they were halfway through the season. And when they got Pascal Siakam, everyone's like, oh man, this isn't really working. And then they eventually caught their stride. If you remember that, mid-season tournament, in-season tournament, I'm blanking on the actual title of it. The Pacers were hot. They had a chance of actually winning the whole damn thing. And now they find themselves kind of back in that phase where they're playing really good basketball. I think everyone's clicking, playing some of the best basketball of their career at that time. And the Pacers are one of the hardest teams to beat on their own court. I mean, they got one of the best records there for a reason, just behind the Denver Nuggets. So there is a real world where the Pacers don't just go away in a quote-unquote gentleman sweep or even just steal one game. It might be a good series, Game 7, or the Pacers might even find themselves beating the Boston Celtics. Are we too quick to write off the Pacers?
Game 7.
You know what? Boston Celtics, I'm still
5 or 6. It's not getting to 7. 5 or 6. That's what it is. I don't care their record. I don't care what they did in the preseason and I don't care what they did in the end season, whatever little thing, or regular season. I don't care. They are not going to be able to handle the only people that are going to stop the Celtics are the Celtics on the Eastern side. Now, once they get to the Timberwolves taking their lunch. But the only people that are going to stop the Celtics are the Celtics. So if the Celtics mess up this conference final, They can't blame anybody but them. They've been there, every year for the past 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, this would be 4 years banging their head on the door frame if they don't make it.
I mean, at some point in time, it's when it's crunch time and when it matters the most on the biggest stage, the people who y'all got in that building aren't the ones to get it done. So I'm not worried about the Pacers. Like I said, I think it'll go to 5 or 6. I don't think it'll get to 7. And even if they do win 2 games or whatever, I mean, it might be 2-2 because the 2 home games at home and then Boston will run off. So I just think, Boston is a juggernaut and it's too much for, the Pacers to handle. And I think, they'll I won't say breeze through them, but, once they get them figured out game 3, game 4, it'll be a problem for them.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm going to continue to steel arm this for the 3 Pacers fans out there listening, because there is a chance where we got about 4 minutes left here. The Pacers did just come off of winning a Game 7 in the Madison Square Garden. Probably the most chaotic.
The Knicks were hurt. They were hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just the league. We can talk about that, but that's just the way of the league every single year.
The guy that got you there broke his hand. You didn't have Randall the whole run there. So that's different. Even if if they had Brunson to finish the game, I don't think they'll be in that game. So I'm not going for it. I'm not taking the cheese. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but like Game 7 wasn't even close. And I get it with the injuries. Maybe you can hint at, well, that's a big part of it. But that's just always been the way of the league. And I'm not going to sit here and speculate, well, these guys got hurt. Like, yes, that definitely happened, but that happens every single time in the playoffs. And they still found a way. The 6-seeded Pacers, who, you could even argue with a fully healthy Pacers roster, just didn't have any chance to be where they are right now. And they keep proving people wrong, flying under the radar. They don't care if the other team's hurt. They're just going to go out there and win. And that's what they did. All right. They don't give a damn about what the narrative is. They're going to go out there and win in the most hostile environment. They're going to go to another hostile environment. They're feeling hot. They're playing the best basketball of their careers right now.
They're going to be stomped out regardless of how you feel or what you're talking about. And it like I said,
about how the Celtics feel, because it's something about their DNA where it's like, you can't just they sweep a series. All right. Like you keep coughing up a game to an inferior team. You're supposed to be this dominant. You have the number 1 record overall, and it's not even close. Sweep these damn teams. Like, make it a point that you are the best team and it's not close, but you're falling asleep. You'll give a game to the Heat without Jimmy Butler.
Night. Like they gotta be super every day.
If they fall asleep way too damn much. If they fall asleep during the Pacers, they could have a series. And that's the thing I'm talking about.
1 or 2 games tops.
I think if they fall asleep, which they have been doing so far, in one of these first games they have at home, and if the Pacers steal one, we've seen the Celtics panic.
And they're not stealing one of the first 2. Oh no, that I don't think that's happening.
I should look at the odds while we're talking about it. I think it's like plus 310 on the first game, but the Celtics. History will tell us that they haven't been able to just take care of business. And now the reason why Kristaps Porzingis is huge is Miles Turner actually becomes a major factor. And all of a sudden you actually can get these mismatches working for you because they're without a Porzingis. They got Al Horford out there, but with the way the Pacers play, he's going to be hurting.
Horford needs to go sit down. The one game that the Celtics have lost in each series, is it within the first 2 or the second and third game?
It's typically within the first 2. I can go back and look.
You might be right there. They might lose one of the first one, if not the first one, the second one. I think you might be right, because I think Boston. Cleveland. I know one.
They got it at home.
Yeah, they got him at home. I can't remember if I want to say Miami got him at home too, though.
Okay, let's look. So the Heat won game 2. They still won. They won game 2, and then they would drop every single one after that. But they picked game 2, and with the Cavaliers series,
they won game 2 too.
They picked up the Cavs won game 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. So okay, they might
falling asleep, man. They fall asleep at the wheel quite a bit. Something about It's true. It's just the Celtics these past few years is like they can't just kind of come in there. Because remember the Nuggets last year, and once they got to the Lakers and they swept the Lakers, it's like, okay, this team's just dominant right now. Like they just took
they don't scream the same fear that we've seen from some of these teams in the past. They don't really make you nervous. They don't really. It's like, yeah, they're that, but like we can get them.
Yeah, they. I don't want to, for lack of better terms, you put like soft, like mentally, just something about that team, not able to just put the foot on the gas and say we're the most dominant team in the NBA. We're not even going to give you one. We're not going to fall asleep at all. Now, you give them credit, right? They only lost one, and then they quickly flipped back to that championship mindset. Like, no, we're going to go take care of business. You guys aren't getting another squeak at this. Because if you look at the rest of the series, the Celtics would pretty dominantly close them out, where it wasn't really that close.
If the Celtics lose this series, does that change your mind on Tatum in any chance at any point?
No, not Tatum, just Brown. Sorry, Brown. I hate to do that to you, but just Brown. I just can't. Something about that guy's ability to be that second man, that second guy in the playoffs. That's what scares the crap out of me. If it is to say the Celtics Timberwolves meet up, is we saw how Jamal Murray got harassed, and I think he's a better ball handler than Brown. I don't think they're going to let Brown bring that ball up the floor very much at all. I mean, the Timberwolves really found a way to hound teams as soon as they try to bring the ball up half court, and it worked well. I mean, that's what ultimately beat the Denver Nuggets. Now, there's a lot of things that went into it, but turnovers certainly were a factor in it, and a lot of that was just the pressure the Timberwolves were applying. With the Celtics, like Tatum, you better have the backstrap on because I really think he's going to have to be doing a lot of heavy lifting against a very good team.
What are the Celtics missing? Like what other than a mentality?
I think it's literally the mentality, and unfortunately, it's a 7-footer too now. Because the Timberwolves, you're going to need that 7-footer. You're going to need him healthy. I love Al Horford. He always impresses me with how he steps up his game, but I mean, he's not going to be able to compete with the Timberwolves. If
he falls down, he might break something. Like he doesn't even run comfortably or remotely what he was, 2-3 years ago. He looks hurt like that. Yeah. Like that's and he's an active guy and whatnot. But I mean, I think he will be a liability on any of the first 6 for the Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they're going to have to try to roll out with like some sort of version of minutes for him. Make sure he's still healthy enough throughout the whole series. But yeah, I think I was a little too quick to just say, yeah, Boston's the team. I still think that I'd probably put them obviously the favorite to win it, but this is a team that's had a lot of hiccups in the past, especially when it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals. And they're playing a team who just won a Game 7 in one of the toughest environments. Yes, there was injuries, but hey, you blew them out. It wasn't really even that close. So you did your job and then some with a roster that you need to take advantage of. And again, now you're entering another tough environment, another environment where nobody's picking you to win it. Nobody has, let's just be real, nobody's picking them to win it. We can go through ESPN, all the top analysts, it's Boston, 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 Boston. And in the West, it's Minnesota, 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 maybe Mavericks. They're a little higher on the Mavericks than the Pacers, but no one's really picking the Pacers here. I mean, that's your highest Vegas odds for a reason. Not a lot of people are picking it. But hey, Obi Toppin, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Nesmith, playing some of the best basketball of their career. Indiana, tough place to play. I'll steel arm it. The Pacers, they got a shot. I'll say that. I'm not going to give you a percentage because
win 2. That's about it.
If they can find a way to get in that headspace of the Celtics, I think that's the
if the Celtics choke and just unfold or just unravel and do something so uncharacteristic, I think they can get them.
Isn't that what the track record shows you, though? That's what the Celtics have done?
It's the Celtics series to lose. Like, the Pacers don't scare me. They don't. They're a hard-running team. They got, height. They can run up and down. They are a young team and everything like that. They've been saved by, amazing grace. That to me, that whole playoff run, honestly, you got to hurt Milwaukee with Doc. That's +2 for you. You get, New York, who's hurt, banged up and whatnot. So I don't think, you got New York's best shot, but I mean, you weathered that storm and whatnot. So, I mean, you know, luck may be on their side, but as long as, you know, the Celtics don't have a terrible slump or just, you know, a playoff slump to where they just fall off the face of the earth, that is the only way I think they win it, honestly. And that could happen with Celtic fashion. It could. And I mean, and if it did, I mean, I would be surprised, but I mean, I could see it happening at the same time. But I would eat my words and know that they were the better team that series, and they won whatever. But if I'm the Celtics, like they don't scare me. You have better athletes, you have better superstars, you have a coach player and everything like that. Like you've been in these situations before, you've been here before, years in the making. So I mean, your body, y'all been here. Your bodies won't be as tired as you know maybe this team has and whatnot. So you know what it takes to go to a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what it feels like to go to a Game 6. So you're callous for that. So you should have the advantage with being here 3-4 years straight.
Yeah, the only problem is they also got the callous. They're used to losing it. And this is kind of what I'm saying, just being real, right? Like you said, if you're the Boston Celtics, you're looking at the Indiana Pacers. We're the better team. These guys, they really got no shot. We got this. It's 3 years in a row that they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals. Got to go back, not 4, but 2020, you can throw that one in there to make it 4. So 2020 was the Miami Heat. Miami Heat go on to win it. 2021, Celtics didn't make it. Milwaukee Bucks, Hawks. But 2022, there's the Boston Celtics, Miami Heat. 2023, the Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics. In 2023 was the A-seeded Miami Heat. And that's the one where it's like, if the Celtics even have a sniff of that same attitude, what are you doing? You do not have the... But
like, even with that Miami Heat team, that Miami Heat team isn't, the Indiana Pacers teams isn't anything relatively close to that Heat team. And that was a Heat team.
We just don't know yet. We don't know yet. No. They haven't played. If they beat the Celtics team, we're going to be like, oh my God, they are like the Miami Heat.
No, you going to be like it. I'm like, they just, had a guardian angel looking out for them.
I was looking out for them. I'm a Pacers fan for the rest of the series here, just because I think the upset would be crazy. But no, I'm with the Miami Heat. I'm not going to pick the Pacers to win it, but I'm more convinced that there's a legitimate route to where the Boston Celtics, for whatever reason, they've been shaky in the Eastern Conference Finals. You want to call them soft? I don't know what it is. Maybe the Miami Heat
might have just had, Boston's number. Like, I mean, that was a tough series. You got, probably a Hall of Fame coach. Jimmy Butler can, he's debatable for Hall of Fame and everything like that.
Yeah.
But the Heat might have just had, Boston's number, and that's just something they couldn't, get over or whatnot. I don't think what the Heat were able to do, I don't think that Indiana has anything like that at all to give too much of a problem for the Celtics.
Yeah, I just my if you're going to be the Pacers and you're really going to hope that they find a way to win this one, you're hoping that without Porzingis, it's going to be Miles Turner figures out a way, and Pascal Siakam really figure out a way to get a lot of mismatches against some of those smaller guards. But problem is, you look at a guy like Jason Tatum, if he wants to play that defensive game, he can find a way to be a serious problem out there too. So really, on paper, if you're assuming the Celtics lock in, they don't have that hiccup, then they should probably close this thing out 5-6 games. If we're looking at history and we don't think the Celtics have changed, there's a real door here for a Game 7 Pacers find a way to shock the world just for the Minnesota Timberwolves to probably find a way to close the whole damn thing out. Or the Mavericks. I mean, we got a little bit of time left. Do you want to talk, or the Mavericks Timberwolves series? Are we overlooking that one at all? Because I think I was pretty sold on the Timberwolves. I still kind of am. It's odd. I switched my mind more about the Pacers than I did the Mavericks, but I'm still Timberwolves.
I'm still Timberwolves too. I think, it just depends on, don't letting, their superstars, both of them go off, and the bench go off. Still kind of play the type of style of game that you want. Speed them up. I don't think, if you speed them up, I don't think, they'll be able to, stay and keep up with pace. I don't really like the matchup for some odd reason, just because I think, I don't know, because it's Dallas or just because Cuban's with the team or something like that. I like Jason Kidd. He's a smart, player and whatnot. He knows a lot. and everything like that. So I just it drives me crazy a little bit. I think that game will definitely be harder and tougher because I don't think the Mavericks will go down without fighting, and I don't think you can never say that they're not in it. I mean, we've seen Denver come back from a 20-point blowout and lose a 20-point blowout. So we know what the Timberwolves are capable of doing offensively, defensively, with staying ahead and coming back from behind. So that game that's a trap game. The Mavericks makes me nervous. Just hopefully things aren't too much. The moment isn't too big for a young Minnesota team.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, we'll wrap it up here. But one thing we can be certain for is that once again, the NBA champion will not be a repeat. It feels like we're kind of out of those days. It's been like 4, maybe even 5 years in a row where we haven't had a repeat champion. That seems to be the parity, I should say, seems to be going away, at least in this current small era where a superstar.
I would agree.
But with that being said, might have to talk about it more tomorrow. That's going to wrap it up for us. Shout out to Demorne Pierson-El for streaming in as always. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you.